Say after me, please. I, Conrad Omaike Makizaki, do solemnly swear that the evidence I shall give before this committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God. Thank you.
Welcome back to Unity Broadcasting. We're still the House of Parliament, One, Usai ministers, them they come for take put swear before the committee of appointments now the House of Parliament, and we get different ministers and agencies. We didn't get for come to questioning by the leader and members of the committee. So now continue hostility to Unity Broadcasting.
Oh, Conrad Saki.
Omalike Matthew Saki. So, you have the form each year.
Yes.
So, yeah. And can you just look at the text below your photographs, please?
Yes.
Did you teach her before? Sasaki?
Yes.
Your teacher before?
Yes. I have told.
Orderly presentation of your documents by file. Do you have your documents?
Yes, I do.
No, not you, my colleagues.
Okay.
Okay. It's back in folds in plastic. Just read for me the text below your photographs.
It's Conrad Omalike Matthew Saki, public servant of 44 Charles.
The text just below your photographs.
Oh, canvassing of members of the committee is strictly forbidden.
You canvass anybody?
No, I didn't.
Are you sure?
Yes.
The text is for us to understand that the methodology is to fight corruption and that we as committee members have a responsibility to enhance transparent and credible interview so that we can get our nominees to the plenary for approval. We concerned or the things happening around fighting against corruption. So that's why we are. We don't want to justify perception into reality. All of us are trying to fight corruption. So do you know anyone on the panel?
I know, I know a significant number of members of this panel as I have appeared in Parliament for several sessions.
Who do you know?
I'll start with your good self, sir. The chair of the committee, the deputy chair of the committee. I also know Honorable.
Have you ever appeared for this committee?
Yes.
In the last administration?
Yes, I did. When I was proposed or nominated as the chair of the
Yes. Can you take us to your balance, please? The first question. And accounts with banks, specific bank branches.
Okay.
Don't announce the balance, but Is it this local commercial bank?
That is correct. Shaka Steel Institute.
Yeah, the first one.
And then there are two.
Don't worry. That is one. And local commercial bank Juba branch. The first one is cleared. One for Juba.
That's correct.
Hold on. Still looking for the one for Juba. Just hold on.
It should be the second.
It's not the second
folder.
It is the second folder.
Yes.
Okay. So we are done with the first commercial bank.
Yes.
So we go for the second folder.
Yes.
You don't want to take your time.
Okay.
Because you have to fill the asset declaration.
The statement of account actually reads as Shaka Steel.
No, don't worry.
Okay.
Don't worry. It's Juba, we have seen it.
Okay.
Okay, also that one is clear. You are right. And the next folder is the same for Juba.
Yes.
Yes, it's correct. And the northwest folder. This where we have the northwest.
Yeah.
So direct me here is your balance. Just direct us where you have your balance. Don't really balance, just direct us.
That should be on the fourth folder.
Yeah, give us the caption. Is that one? Just go. Yeah.
It says Northwest Select Platinum.
Yes, I'm here. So is the balance starting from 2?
Yes.
We don't have 2 here.
Okay, the 2, there's another folder just after that, which should read Northwest.
In the same folder.
No, it should be the 5th folder.
We are now looking for the one with the 10, 1, 2.
Okay, it's at the back. So it starts from December, 6 months on. So it will.
Hold on.
It's the balance on 7th July.
Yes, that's correct.
Is the next folder that has the select of this platinum account, right?
Yes. And you should have
11 January or July.
It starts at the back.
So the last one.
Okay, the last one should read NatWest Instant Saver account.
Hold on. So also the last, we talk about the.
It should be on the last page.
Let's check.
That's correct.
Page last 12th June 2020. Right?
Yes, that's correct.
The second page.
The second to the last page of the
Second to last.
preceding the back of the page.
That is 26 June.
Or 12 June.
But you have 26 June. I've seen it. It's 26 June. From 27 May 2023 to 22 June 2023. I've seen it. Okay. So, this is a flagship program, Profos.
It is.
What do you intend to bring to the fore?
Well, I've spent the last 3 years working with the flagship program. In the organizations that I represent, the Teaching Service Commission, we've had some significant gains as a result of that, and I bring that experience to bear. I've also worked with the previous minister who had a collegial approach to leadership, and so there was a leadership group made up of 6 of us, 3 political members, and then 2 technical leads that included the chief education officer and myself, and the administrative lead, who is the permanent secretary. So most of the decisions were made in that order. So I have been an integral part of some of the achievements of the last few years.
So you still have good schools, some people are receiving subsidy for schools who are not really properly registered. They are still showing with your data. It's real false.
I think there are incidents of that. It's not
an incident, or is it true or false?
I
From
think
your data you have.
I think where we have reports of these incidents, actions have been taken. I think there are plans afoot for us to address some of these issues, and there are various ways we can do that.
So what's your plan?
Well, first of all, I think I am very much, I think having worked with a minister who is a technologist,
You are an administrator.
I am an administrator, but with some technological experience. So, for example, if you look at my CV, I took a lead in the digitization of student services at Anglia Ruskin University when I was head of information and advice. And just to give you the context and the complexity of this situation, Anglia Ruskin had about 38,000 students across 5 different continents, and they had 3 campuses. And the whole idea was to digitize the entire process to make sure that at the click of a button, you can have a snapshot of all the interactions that students have had with the various services that we have. So I do have some experience in terms of this digitalization, and I'll give you examples from what I...
All right, no problem.
Okay.
No problem. Just wanted to know you, because your predecessor, someone who's highly inclined talking about the human technology world. So you have been working in the service commission, the teaching service commission.
That's correct.
So we have been working hand in glove to ensure that we have a smooth trial ministry.
That's correct.
So my colleagues, any question for Mr. Saki? Your co-minister, go ahead.
Mr. Minister Designate, I know under your watch, we now have at least discipline teachers in Sierra Leone that we've not had for the past 15 years. And I can also testify that you streamline the TSC to a level that we can also have some professional teachers. But mind you, TSC is just one small entity of the whole of the Ministry of Education. And your predecessor has done a fantastic job to make sure that he places student education in the world map. Thereby, the world elected him as the best education minister in the world.
The best minister.
What do you think? One, are you intending to maintain and improve on his legacy? That's true. 1. 2, where are you seeing the education ministry or education of Sierra Leone in the next 5 years? How do you want to position education in Sierra Leone for the next 5 years? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I think, first of all, let me start off by just going back to the preface that you gave in terms of the the preface you gave in terms of in terms of my experience in the teaching service and the relationship of the magnitude of what I was exposed to in terms of what I'm now going into. We should not underestimate that the Teaching Service Commission is in charge of effectively 85,000 teachers. In terms of the government payroll, we have the biggest payroll. And that is a very complex operation. We have offices in all 16 districts. And teachers are the only workforce you have in the country where everybody is educated. And so therefore it's a very sensitive group of people that you're working with. And you need to have that sensitivity and diplomacy to deal with it. So that's what I come into this job with. But let me go back to the point that you made, that the previous minister had done an enormous amount of work and has laid a very solid foundation. Now, my vision is to consolidate on the gains that he has made and to accelerate the transformation that we need to have in this space.
Are you echoing the manifesto or are you the
No, I am to a certain extent, but I think it's a management response to this situation. It would be foolhardy of me to wipe the slate clean and start all over again. It makes more sense for me to consolidate what we've done and bring in a new addition to what we have. So in 5 years, this is what I would say. I think the focus is on improving quality. So we now have a raft of new policies that we have in terms of radical inclusion. We have the school catchment policy. You have even an education sector plan 2022 to 2026, which is a strategic document we'll be working towards, which we've agreed on. So with all of these things, it is about, one, how do we execute this and implement what we have in these documents to make sure that they become a reality and they are not just documents, but are working documents that we can use to take education to another level. Now, in terms of some of the experiences my personal experiences, there are several occasions when the previous minister could not attend conferences or engagements where he had asked me to deputize for him. And for him to do that, he must have some confidence in my ability to
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Okay, Mr. Honorable Question.
Thank you very much. Quickly, I learned that you are coming from the TSC.
Yes, sir.
That is an institution responsible for recruitment and management of teachers.
Yes.
And now you are the minister designate for basic education. And I believe there are still people who are teachers, but who do not have paid coach. So how do you collaborate as the minister on approach with the TSC so that these teachers who are working so diligently to be approved?
Perhaps I need to just go back to what we've achieved in the Teaching Service Commission for over the last 5 years. For over the last 5 years, we've recruited over 10,000 teachers. So you could see that there is progress being made in this area. Now, one of the challenges we have is that the government do not have enough money to recruit all of these teachers, but we are making sure that we maximize where we recruit teachers and where we deploy them. So, for example, going forward, one of the things I would ideally like to see is that we prioritize government schools in the first instance to make sure that we adequately staff those schools. And as resources become available, we target other areas where there are greater needs. So, for example, specifically targeting rural areas where we know that we've had some challenges retaining teachers in those areas. So what tends to happen is that we recruit these teachers, we deploy them to these areas, but they move from those areas back into the urban areas. So let me give you specific examples. We recruit teachers from Potloko, we deploy them in Cambria, they then leave Cambria and come back to Potloko. Yes? In the south, you will recruit teachers from Bo, you deploy them in Kijon, and then they leave Pujo and come back to Bo. So how would you tackle that? Now, for my sense, we have now got a new database which covers all of our teachers, both those on the payroll and those outside of the payroll. So what we can now have is a real-time data that will ensure that we see whether teachers have moved from one area to the other. This will be complemented by the attendance monitoring app, which we are just about to introduce, where the register of teachers are done using biodata. So effectively, if a teacher that is deployed in Pujong moves to back to Bo, at a click of a button, we'll know what that has taken place and actions can be taken to rectify that. So again, you see, we're using technology to meet the challenges that we have. But let me go back to another point that you're making, and that is to say, how do we ensure that we have we have teachers, even though there are some challenges in terms of the fiscal movement that we have in the budget, the national budget. We have to reimagine how we provide teachers. So one of the things that we can do is use more effectively the radio teaching program that we currently have within the ministry. We are also considering the possibility of actually having certain lessons recorded and then distributed to some of the areas that are underserved. Now, that does not take away the fact that we still need teachers in these areas. But at the same time, it means that we are looking at new ways and thinking outside of the box as to how we can deal with some of the challenges that we currently have.
The theory and propounding actual effect on the schools is a very big challenge. And that's why it's asking this question. You have tried, you and your predecessor. What we can do on that. Next question.
Thank you. Mr. Saki.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me congratulate you in advance. Approved by this House. Being that we are from the teaching service, and you know the challenges that some of these teachers face, especially those in the most remote areas, like the area I come from, down the river. So what modalities do we put in place in terms of incentives so these teachers to encourage them to stay where they are? And also, how do you intend to improve this radical inclusion? Because I was one of the persons that was frowning at the inclusion when they talk about pregnant. If you are pregnant, you go to school, you continue with your schooling. What modalities, since now it is going to be implemented, what modalities have you put in place to encourage these children, if they are pregnant, in terms of health, clinics, and taking care of their babies? What modalities will you put in place so that we can encourage these ladies or these girls for this inclusion? Thank you.
Okay. About 2 years ago, we did a report which looked at what we call non-cash incentives to retain teachers in underserved areas. And that was taking into consideration some of the difficulties we have financially to meet this need. So let me just give you a specific example of how this can be implemented. One of the things that we've considered is that if a teacher stays in a particular area, an underserved area, for about 2 or 3 years, then we're thinking that that teacher could be accelerated when it comes to promotion. So in that space, we are not giving the teacher money immediately, but at the same time, by staying in those underserved areas, it fast tracks their promotion to a higher level. If you also look at the education sector plan, 2022-2026, we have as an aspiration the introduction of hardship remote allowances. Having said that, that can only be actualized when the fiscal space is available. But we have as an aspiration the introduction of remote allowances. In terms of radical inclusion, as you know, as part of that policy, we have lifted the ban for parent pupils who are now allowed to continue their education, and they have all the modalities put in place to support them in terms of that. By that I mean we have reasonable adjustments that we've made in the educational space to accommodate them in the school system. Now, if they were to drop out of those schools, we also have the possibility of actually addressing that issue and re-engaging them back into the system using non-formal education. In which case, it might not be attending the mainstream school, it will be attending a community center. But at the same time, we still have access to their education.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You are coming from TC. You have a lot of experience. You learned all that. We hope the things you told us will be following up at the
Thank you. Thank you.
All information is that.
Yeah.
That's why it's not today.
What's your interest in this whole thing?
Thank you.
Sorry.
I, Sharino Abdullahi Ba,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that the evidence I shall give
that the evidence I shall give
before this committee shall be the truth,
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
So help me Allah.
So help me Allah.
Yeah, your phone. Please look for your phone. You have your phone, sir?
Yes.
Okay, you want to see your photographs? Let's give you a few times. As for Home Minister of Information and Communication, of Information, sorry, civic education.
Yes, sir.
Alright.
Okay, enough.
Are you okay now?
He has always been sexy. Since most week, he has been sexy.
What's your name, sir?
My name is Cherno Abdulaiba.
Chair.
Mr. Chairman.
What's your proposed position?
My proposed position is the Minister of Information and Civic Education, sir.
Okay. You have the phone.
I use
Can we take a look at your form and read the text below? Your photograph. Have you seen it?
Yes, sir.
Can you read that text for us?
Canvassing of members of the committee is strictly forbidden.
Good. You know anybody on the panel?
I do know pretty much everybody on this panel, sir.
Private, public, or in canvas?
Definitely public, private, and never in canvassing.
Alright. You know, there are a series of platforms in trying to advance a lot of education on the media platform and the work that you do as a broad platform. They are coming in and proposed minister information and education. Before going to a specific question that has to do with the ministry, I just wanted you to take your form and look at the balance sheet given to us. We are very difficult to understand. Can you take us through? About you call the figures, just the direction. They are GTC, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And yes, type them out. And for the balance of GTCO, it's at the bottom, right?
Yes,
the next page be back.
Oh, you mean
The balance sheet.
yes, the statement of accounts, yes.
So just the figures, the figure we are finding difficult to catch up.
Well, the balance are
Don't read the figures, just
yes.
show me the direction where I can get the balance.
In the just underneath the picture that you referred me to, the first question has accounts with specific
Yes, that is
banks.
that is the statement. Now
Yes,
directly to me and you have your balance. They are giving us a balance.
Underneath each one, I've listed the specific bank
Exactly
account.
on the balance sheet that I'm asking you.
Yes, sir.
Hold on, just directly where you have that number. The GTCO.
There are two accounts.
There's two accounts. You have the color,
Yes.
which I'm dealing with now, the one with the color.
Yes.
Okay, let me go specific, 30 June 2023. Have you seen that one?
Yes, sir.
Uh,
It should be at the back of that one.
it's
But
true.
I have also made it easy for you in the declaration, Mr. Chair.
Just a minute.
On the first page underneath the picture, I've listed the totals.
Yes.
No, I understand that.
It is not consistent with your bank balance. Something. We're not seeing your bank balance. That's why I'm asking you continue.
So this one,
Okay, let's go to the first one. Here you have the 30 June. Have you seen it?
Yes, sir.
The 30 June. The other one is the 21st of July.
Correct.
Yeah?
Yes.
You have two statements here.
Yes.
The one with color. You have this. So where is the balance? It's not there at the back.
It should be at the bottom of it.
The bottom of this one.
Yes, sir.
Where is it written? in the paper, in the questionnaire.
In the questionnaire,
Mhm.
it's at the bottom right here.
Is it this thing?
Look at the figures.
Don't call the figures.
Question one and look at them with this one.
Yes.
Yes.
It's 2-2.
Correct.
You have 4-0.
Look at. Do you have this statement?
Okay, wait.
You have this statement.
This one, yes.
Yeah, take your time.
Yes.
Okay, take your time. Take the one out. It's a document. Don't worry. Relax, and when you are ready, tell us.
Okay.
The one with the column.
Yes.
You have
What are
seen
you
it?
asking for the?
Yes. The one with
Take the one.
No.
Take the
Okay.
statement out.
you have the.
I don't have this one in my hand.
Okay, give me one. Oh, that is what. What do you have in your hand there?
I have the summary that I submitted.
That's my one.
Okay.
In your original document, you have this one.
I have those.
You have it.
Yes.
Okay, take them away.
I don't have the specific bank details, but I have it on the form.
Okay, what you can do, just it's not consistent with what you have.
I see what you're saying.
Okay, so we can do that one before the approval. Yeah?
Okay.
So
I
let me
will
go.
resubmit that one. No problem. Okay. I see what you're saying.
So again, when you meet the clerk, try to convert someone. Of course, he said, when you fill this form here in Sierra Leone,
Yes, sir.
so we're expecting there's no legislation that you class that in local currency.
Well, because of the.
Don't worry.
Yes.
You have this one. So when you do conversion.
Yes, sir.
The reason why we are doing this is because of the continuous publication from the anti-corruption. Okay, about as a declaration. The same documents you have to. So we don't want people to challenge you. And if you go outside there, you want to talk on behalf of the government, and say, no, you have to declare, say, there's a consistency with it. And this hearing is a public hearing. So we allow you to check the documents again before the final approval. Any MP at the plenary can challenge us. We just representing them here. So I want to be clear in mind so that when I'm presenting you, there is a clear code. So are you willing to do it?
Yes, sir.
Against us?
I shall.
Okay, let's proceed.
Thank you.
Others become also the same for particulars of all properties which are purchased in. Of course, this one is also cannot be in tune with the policy. We have the legislation, we have you transact in foreign currency. So can you give equivalence in museum? Mostly, it will just give equivalence in museum. So the clerk will allow you to do more. These are those areas of corrections so that will be important. Let me go specific. I was the chairman for Information and Communication Committee when I was deputy leader for the business. This is a question I've asked every minister, especially only one minister, all of us who are working within the Ministry of Information and Communications at that time. So I want you to take note of these questions and I want genuine answers from you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, me myself, I've taken my time to write them out. Because SMBC, they are supposed not. Sometimes when I have a live debate, we want to clear the issues. For example, the Public Elections Act 2022, we have live coverage from SMBC. Live coverage. But anytime we have a live coverage, we always have problem. We had problem for them not to broadcast it for an important event. But there was another time that we had a serious issue that has to do with the debate or the budget. That we have to say, okay, no, we'll cover the program of the president so that later on we can hear it out. They have given us enough airtime, be it TV, be it radio, airwave. We have occupied that particular space for some time. When we have programs, make sure that we collect services for all. So it's the only space we as government we have, Parliament and other arm of government, to use when we have our programs. So I believe that you must be on live on here. Are you on live on here? Are you aware that you are live on here?
I am.
You are live on here.
Sure, I am. Yes.
So you know why? Because you own that place.
Correct.
So let me ask you this question. Take them down. If you don't answer them, or you can come to them. Because I have to give my colleagues a chance to ask you questions. What are you going to bring to the fore as a vision for the state, the broadcasting state, the SABC? What do you have? 2, I want to see if you are going to be in line with your predecessor. I want to see if you are going to be in line with your predecessor or more than your predecessor. What is your transformation plan for SABC? In using, I see you have a big platform, using your own platform. We need a state-of-the-art equipment. How can we get to influence our radio resume? We also need qualified. No, we are not saying they don't have qualified staff. Only information is a new world now. We are going beyond educating people. Sometimes you have to go digital, sometimes you have to use social media platform. Whether you like it or not, to reach out as fast as you can to the public. So how do you plan to really train your staff? That's the change that you can do. The only legacy that team can be at the SWC after you, because you cannot be there forever. You see how best you can train and so have qualified staff at the SWC. So history can judge that you give. Using the platform you have, be able to address the issues of qualified, of solid personnel that you can have at the SWC. Yeah? Finally, you always have plans. I would like you to share a plan with us.
Government always have plans.
I don't know what type of company is it. What type of company is it?
Is it your company?
I don't know. It's my company.
The parties understand the message.
You are in competitions. You are talking about the radio stations. There's a huge competition. Kudos to your predecessor and his team, especially the DJ, such as Sakabua Esquire. He is in competition with the current DG, with other media outlets. They are looking up to you to see how fast you are going to reach out based on your plan. How fast are you going to reach out based on the competitive nature of the media outlets? And finally, want to say finally is the final. Comrade, I want to say we have created a book.
Okay, you said it now. You said it now. Say my name.
Yes, finally, we have the platform. We have done plenty of the progressive laws. We played a part 5 of the public order. I want to have you say on it before you leave. Thank you. I give you 5 minutes. I know you don't like to make the rule out.
Confirming that is your brother.
He's not my brother, he's just a friend.
Thank you.
Friend of governance.
First of all, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, I want to thank you for this singular honor of having me here. I am in awe of not just this platform, but the privilege of addressing you and presenting my credentials and my plans to answer this national call to duty that His Excellency the President has bestowed on me. As a boy from Kanike, I take this very seriously. And as you have said, Mr. Chairman, we live in an information age. We're going to win the battles of the 21st century and the visions of our president to get Sierra Leone to be a leader in the 4th Industrial Revolution by ensuring that our information apparatus is not just competitive, but can stand up to the test of time. And at the heart of that is our national broadcaster. I am thrilled that you have started the questioning with inquiring about the status of the national broadcaster. Since I was appointed, obviously SLBC has been at the fore of my mind. I do not want to sell this committee a white elephant. I do not intend to come make promises here that will be flowery and well put in beautiful language. But I can assure you that, as you stated, my ambition, my intention is to build on the successes of my predecessor, on the incredible work that His Excellency has done in the first term, and as he has outlined as well in his vision for the second term, and to simply, I think one way I can encapsulate a response to the myriad of questions you just posed is that the vision is to transform the national broadcaster into a state-of-the-art institution. And that includes not just in terms of equipment, but I really am happy that you mentioned human resource. As a chairman, members of the committee, I can say with humility that I come with a reputation. Every institution that I have been privileged to lead or support or be in, I have approached in a holistic way and sought holistic solutions. With our national broadcaster, SLBC is supposed to be the pride of our nation. It's been held back by several constraints, but my ambition is to seek the right kind of international partnerships, to find the right kinds of connections. And partnerships are not just about money. I come from the non-governmental sector, where I have been successful in not just building alliances globally, but building relationships that can translate into tangible outcomes. So I will work with the DG. I will work with you.
Thank you. Thank you. Don't move forward. I'll be waiting for you to land. I now open the floor for my colleagues to ask questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Well, I'm supporting the commission.
Congratulations for your nomination.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Bayo, we face with a situation where people use social media, cyberbullying. We enacted the Cyber Security Act in this parliament. But till now, the bullying, people are using the social media to disadvantage others. How effective will you use the Cyber Security Act that was enacted at the parliament to save people from this embarrassment?
Thank you so much, sir. I come from the human rights field. I'm a proud feminist. My entire life I've been doing human rights work. So first of all, I want to say the premise for me is I believe in information accessibility. I believe in freedom of expression. But I also understand that freedoms come with necessary responsibilities. And I think the intent of that law that you wisely put forward was to ensure that in the exercise of our freedoms, which I think this parliament and the president are committed to advancing by repealing, for example, the public act, part 5, I think the intent of that was to create necessary platforms for all citizens to enjoy that freedom. I think in enjoying that freedom, we cannot, as a society, we cannot, as a country, put other people's reputations at stake. So what I intend to do, what my initial vision is to expand the space. We want information accessibility. And I think one way you can beat fake news, one way you can defeat propaganda, my instinct is not to do bans. My instinct is not to limit the space. is to not just expand the space, but also make sure that citizens have access to truthful, reliable information so they can tell the difference between what is fake and what is not. And that's going to happen by making sure that we have a unity of purpose. We have clear platforms where government can speak to its citizens. Government can use different platforms. Government does have a bullet pulpit, but we have not, I think, to date, utilized the full essence of that bullet pulpit.
Thank you. Next question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Ba, I want to, on behalf of the youth of this country, congratulate you in advance.
You are not a youth.
I said,
Point of Sawa.
Yes, I'm a young person.
Honorable Tawa. Talk to the chair.
Thanks, sir.
That's another two.
Right.
I want, on behalf of the youth of this country, congratulate you. Well, I'm not privileged to be here to congratulate you.
Thank you, sir.
When I see you sit in front of me, I see future. When I see you sitting in front of me, I think Sierra Leone. When you speak, I see intelligence. When I read your CV, I see that there are opportunities for the younger ones to be something like you or to beat your record. My question is, and one thing I want you to know is, you are not given that appointment because of your CV. I'm sure they look at other parameters because president is looking for inclusion, radical inclusion. He wants to prove to the nation or to the world that no matter what, the young people can do it. And they want to give us, they want to give the young people chance, privilege, platform to exhibit their intelligence. I want you, first of all, to know that you owe that appointment to the youth of this nation. And that if anything goes wrong, you've blocked the future of those youth that you are here to represent. You are very lucky, like the leader was saying, you have a DG who is very smart, who has worked to improve the national broadcaster in this country. Now, two questions I want to ask. Don't you think that if you do anything of the route you want you to take, that will debar the other youths coming after you to have such an opportunity? Second question, what quality do you have that can present you as a team player? Because you are going to work as a team, you need to work as a team. You cannot do it alone. Thank you.
For the first question, noted. Second, you have answered. For the first question,
Yes, sir.
noted.
Okay.
For the second, you have answered.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And first of all, thanks for those very kind sentiments. I take the honor and that's been bestowed on me, as I said, very seriously. I think it's a solemn call, and I think you're absolutely right. Not just myself, but the team that I've been appointed alongside a lot of young, dynamic people. We owe it to not just ourselves as individuals, but to the young people of this country to do the best that we can. And I think we're going to endeavor to do just that. In terms of my qualities, I think, as I said, I have a record of working in teams. I'm a team player. I've been a leader at every stage of my life, from primary school, secondary school, university, and throughout. And everywhere I've been and all the work that I have done, I've done it as a movement person, as a team player. I intend to do just that.
Thank you. Mine is not necessarily education, but I listen keenly to your responses on the question of the leader of government president and chairman of this committee, particularly so on the transformation of the only broadcaster we have, the national broadcaster, the SFBC. And as a parliament, we look forward to that. Thank you.
So, Honorable Veronica.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Siba, I want on behalf of all the mothers in this country to congratulate you in advance. I think every mother here, seeing you or watching at you on TV, will want to give birth to a boy like, to a man, a young man like you. I'm sorry to say boy. In your presentation and what you've been doing, an advocate for the children locally and internationally. You've proven it to the whole world and to even the women and the people of this country that you are indeed a voice of the children. And you've been doing that, organizing programs, bringing children to parliament, showing them, even getting children not to be scared, to be able to face the public. You have done that. And I have no doubt. But my question is, now you are an advocate. Now you have gone, you've been nominated by HE to meet the bigger purpose. Will you be scared, or will you be happy to meet with these people, to mingle with these people? That's one. And also, will you be there to pass on positive information to the people of this nation? And the rest, I will deal with that in the way. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Honorable. Will I be scared? Will I be happy? I take on this task with all my heart. I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. I'm going to do it with humility, but I'm going to do it without fear, because I enjoy the confidence of His Excellency the President, and I'm hoping I will also gain your approval. Those, I think, are sufficient for me to take on this task with the confidence to take it forward. And on your second question about the positivity of the message, as you know, Honorable, I've always been a positive person, and I know that this is a positive government. I intend to be able to speak to the people of this country clearly, truthfully, and positively at all times.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mr. Ba, welcome. Mr. Ba, I like information, and if I was here the first time in Parliament, these people made it possible. I was nobody knew me. But in a twinkle of an eye like that, I became the most popular. These people could take you there easily and they will put you down easily. And their work is so dangerous. I know it in the world. Let's say in Sierra Leone. These people, because of the hard work they've been doing, I created one of the most beautiful radio stations in my constituency in Kaduna State, just to show them that I actually appreciate what they did. Today, they are well known. We need them. But what can we do for their salaries? People are badly paid. They've not been recognized financially. Some of them told they've been working for like 3-4 years and they have titles. They have a very bad salary. So what can you do to value this profession? Because it's very, very important for each and every one of us and for even others, outside this parliament. Apart from politicians, they are doing extraordinary job again. And without those information, without them going there to bring information to us, we are nowhere. So I would actually like you to look into their situation and value them financially. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All I can say to that is duly noted. I think part of the transformation agenda will be to not just improve the capacity, but also how folks are remunerated. And I think you're absolutely spot on. We will, as an activist and advocate, I will push and ask you, because you make the allocations, to consider the members of our fourth estate who are part and parcel of a very important organ of our state informing the public. So thank you for that.
All right.
Yeah. Mr. Leader, please, I'm already with the mic, please.
7311. Let's go 7311. Chairman has won.
Mr. Leader,
How are
please.
you hearing the work of the chairman?
We are not the just okay, Leader, I will not be long.
After that, we have
Congratulations, Mr. Ba. Mr. Ba, congratulations.
For what?
In advance, if approved. Mr. Ba, I know you're like the mama said, you have been working with girls, as you said, you are feminist. You are one of the people that really work very hard to raise the banner of women high in this country. I want to appreciate you for that. The space you have been working in is small as compared to the space you have been appointed to work in. And the space you have been working in was a human rights space. And I call it as a civil activist. Now you are coming to work in a political space. How would you manage that? I have faced it, and I know when I was in the civil society world and in the political world, it's two different languages. How would you manage that? That is just one. Number two, our people are dying because of misinformation and disinformation. They are being deceived. We have seen that over the years. Our people, I know they listen to radio, but they want it visual, television. Some people, like for example in Kono, I'm coming from Kono, they want to see our national broadcasting being displayed in Kono. Not everybody have access to buy DSTV, but when there was SMBC, you see people even in the village, if they have it, you see all the other people coming around because they believe the right information is coming from the television or the radio. So how would you be able to handle that so that our people will be saved? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable, and thanks as well for your kind sentiments. On the question of making the transition from the civic space, as you refer to it, to the political space, I've always been guided by the principle that you don't have to be the person experiencing it. You look to the folks who have gone ahead of you. I will come to you because you have done that transition. Quite a number of people have also made that transition and successfully. I intend to be mentored by all of you. I intend to learn from you. As I said, approach this with humility and confidence. It's that combination, knowing that you don't know everything and that you might stumble, but be willing to learn as you go forward. On the question of addressing misinformation and taking the national broadcaster, the sources of factual information to the people, that's what I've just shared with the chairman. The vision here is to radically transform how the government communicates to the people of this country and to bring the channels of information to the doorsteps of the people. We're not waiting for the people to come to us. We have to think about creatively getting to the people. That's the task I think I've been given, and that's what I intend to work on every day and night and make sure we succeed.
Thank you very much. Emerson.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chairman. SIBA is one you called. Chairman SIBA, one and 2 decades or so, yes, 1 and 2 decades. In this country, I see SIBA as somebody with a bag of information, education, and entertainment part of education. And SIBA, I've seen in this country that there's a huge lacuna between that civic education and information. We formed NEW for almost 2 decades ago, but the NEW we used to know many years back is not the same. I've seen in this country the civic society aspect. They become very active, always doing electionary process. And the huge lacuna, they are coming as an information and civic education minister. That lacuna, I want to structure and bring in to a particular ministry to fill in that gap. I know you very well for your vibrancy. As I said earlier on, I want to see peace building and persuasion adding to that particular ministry. So you're going to tell this house the magic that you're bringing in. So that lacuna, the gap. I'm telling you, I'm not joking. That civil society will only become active when there is 6 months or so to election. If you begin to ask, why is that they have been doing for 4 years? They're not active at all. To pick an example, I will tell you, proportional representation ideology was bought by the EU. They spent money, sponsored workshops, projects, new, was quite aware. But you begin to ask, why is it that they never propagate proportional representation ideology was never propagated 3 years back? Very close to election, 6 months. 6 months. Civil society was new, particularly the center frowning as though there are no initial ideology. That's a huge gap. Owing this ministry, I want you to tell this nation the magic they are coming so that lacuna gap will be filled and so that our fears too will be allayed in the future. Thank you, Chairman.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Honorable. Shall I wait on?
Mr. Barr proposed Minister of Information and Civic Education. It's a very big job when we're here at all. Being the government spokesman, it's a tough space you are now occupying. But let me ask you, what is your portfolio in that ministry? What is the portfolio in that ministry?
To the best of my understanding, the portfolio is simple. Provide reliable, factual, accessible information to the people of this country, and timely information to the people of Sierra Leone.
I mean,
and to positively, actively defend the good interest of Sierra Leone.
How many MDs you have?
Well, I think because of the division, there are conversations happening currently on how these various components of the ministry will be divided. So I'm aware that there's been before now about 13 MDs when it was Ministry of Information and Communication.
You have SALPOST.
Correct. But I cannot say now that SALPOST will end in information or will be in communications. Those are conversations that are ongoing.
All right. I know certainly that SALPOST will end under your ministry.
Thank you for the information.
Yeah. Now, let's take that for example. SALPOST has been, the problems of SALPOST has been going on for years. Workers are not paid. They are there. The state demonstration all the time. Even as recent as last month. What will be your plan if you do take that ministry? SALPOST.
Honorable, I think my approach to all of these kinds of challenges is you have to take a holistic view. You know, I studied peace, and in strategic peace building, there's something we talk about. You have to be both responsive and strategic. So you're responding on the day-to-day basis, dealing with the fires as they erupt, but you have to have a plan. How do we make sure that if SALPOST ended up in my portfolio, how do we make sure that SALPOST is viable, is strong, can be transformed? But I know that while you're dealing with that, you have to deal with the grievances of the workers on a day-to-day basis. So I would say, instead of coming here and telling you what my magic plans are, I want to spend some time in understanding what the issues are, what the grievances are, and then coming up with a holistic plan that takes into consideration the interest of all the respective voices, and that's what we're going to advance.
As a minister, cabinet minister,
yes, sir.
Will you, in the future, do a cabinet paper advising government as to what to do with SALPOST?
Absolutely, not just SALPOST, but as I said, the entirety of the portfolio. Every single MDA, I think everything is up for grabs. I think what the president has indicated very clearly is that he wants transformation. He wants a state-of-the-art fourth industrial revolution. He wants a modern economy, and information is at the heart of that. He's asked someone like me and my colleague, designated Minister of Communications, the Chief Minister, and others to come in because he wants us to bring that dynamism and newness. So we're going to review all of this, and we're going to come up with plans that we'll put in front of Cabinet, get the blessing of our colleagues and the President, and come back to you here and say, based on the assessment that we've done, this is what we envisage the future to be. And that's what we will take now and look for the resources and partnerships.
I wish you all the best in that ministry.
Thank you, sir. Especially as somebody I know who used to occupy, well, what used to be that ministry in the past.
For your information, you are not only the first youngest Minister of Information. I have also sat in that chair.
Thank you for blazing the trail. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. About we are listening to you carefully. You have been able to answer some of the questions. Others, you are pointed to the fact that you are working with people in the same industry. And you have to take our messages and I need to synergize with the other ministry, in fact, because they can't feed the information as to take us in. It has to do with civic education. You have to do so much. Because today you can see the other way they start using effective languages that are not good for our society, maybe our children. And you are child advocates. So you have to look at all of these things. And your CV, just press on it around that child. You get to the schools, educate, play your own part. I don't want to ask you this question. A professional guy, I've read the CV and see activism, local, international. They have led so many platforms. This is the politics, whether you like it or not. Are you really politically savvy?
Mr. Chairman,
it's a frank question.
I am a proud comrade of the Radicals Club. Full stop.
Politically savvy, nationally.
As I've said often, I will do my best. Humility and confidence. And I'll come to that from you, Mr. Chairman. You're a guru.
I asked the outgoing Minister of Foreign Affairs when he came as the Chief Minister. I asked him that question. I encourage you, we can talk when I'm in that position.
Yes, sir.
Whether you like it or not, assume that you're a politician. That's very interesting. I do admire your courage. I have this huge platform, I have this huge amount of influence, locally and globally. You know, work it and not being a politician, but for you to transmit what you are doing, you have to wedge yourself into the political process. Not that you are doing the wrong thing, send out the messages. So there are certain things that you don't need to lie. For me, when I'm comparing, you see the truth. There are different forms of politicians.
Yes, sir.
They have those who look at, well, you know your audience, the essence of communication, your audience.
Not as a minister of communication.
I'm just saying information. You know your audience.
Yes, sir.
When you know your audience, you want to tell them. Yes. That has been your way around. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, sir.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, we have a fast movement outside.
Because that's the proposed Minister for Information and Civic Education. We chair over because I'm going to be the Minister of Information. If approved by the plenary that is in the House, inside the well of Parliament come this week. So I don't pass through the interview and go through everything from